Well, Linda and I are in the town of Havre, Montana. While we're here, we're going to do the Havre Historical Underground Tour, because at one time, this town was underground. Havre, Montana is located on the High Line of Montana. That's Highway 2, runs east and west. And it's called the High Line because of the way that the land just keeps on going higher and higher as you head west towards the Continental Divide and the Rocky Mountains. The significance of that is that the railroad, of course, as it went from North Dakota heading towards Washington State, the train was constantly going uphill until it got to the Rocky Mountains. So when you see a train going west through Havre, it's always got about 4 engines in front of it pulling. It's just a gradual incline, but it's there nonetheless. It's kind of noisy on this corner because this is Highway 2 coming through town. Highway 2 goes all the way from Maine to Washington State, ocean to ocean. Down at the end of this block in front of us is the Burlington Northern Railway Station. Burlington Northern basically got the town of Havre going because this is the halfway point between Milwaukee and Seattle. So they decided to put a train station here. What originally put Havre on the map was Fort Assiniboine, which was built in 1879. That was the 10th Cavalry. It was Pershing that operated that.
Black Jack Pershing.
And he went on to become General Pershing in the Spanish-American War, right?
Right.
Anyways, the 10th Cavalry was all black soldiers. And
they were known as the Buffalo Soldiers.
Why?
Because the Native Americans had never seen black folks before, and said that their hair reminded them of the curly hair on the backs of the bison.
So they became known as the Buffalo Soldiers, and they were stationed right here in Havre, just 5 miles south of the present-day town. Anyways, we've had a lot of fun here, and we want to show you a little bit around town here a bit, and we want to tell you about underground Havre. That's the highlight of this video. Another thing about Havre is it's got the largest number of historical buildings of any town in the state of Montana, such as this United States Post Office and courthouse here. Well, it's pretty noisy along the main highway here, so we're going to go back a block.
Hey, look, there's a store there.
Population of Havre is about 9,500 people. There's a lot to do in this area. Number one, there's the underground Havre. Then there's Fort Assiniboine, which is interesting, and you can take a tour there too.
There's the buffalo jump.
I forgot about the buffalo jump. Do you know what a buffalo jump is? That was in the old days when the Indians didn't have horses yet. So it was a long time ago. They would find a natural land feature that if they herded the buffalo into that area, they would run them off a short cliff, not very far, maybe a 10 to 15 to 20 foot cliff, just enough to break their legs. And they would, that's how they would harvest their meat. But there's a buffalo jump just on the north side of town here. You can go see that too. And then, not too far from here is where Chief Joseph of the Nez Perce formally surrendered to, I think, General Miles?
Yeah.
I think so. And said the very eloquent words, "From where the sun now stands, I will fight no more forever." So that's another thing you can do in Havre, is go to the Bear Paw Battleground and stand in the very spot where Chief Joseph surrendered. So along about 1884, they moved the town of Havre from Fort Assiniboine to its location here, which is about 5 miles north. And it was a dirt street, with all wooden buildings, and very bustling little town by that time. But the story goes that a couple of rowdy cowboys got kicked out of a bar.
It was a very rowdy town to begin with.
A honky-tonk town is what they called it.
Yeah.
These cowboys were drunk, and they decided to take revenge So they set the bar on fire. It burned down the entire town, and there was nothing left but the basements. And that's how the underground part of Havre got started.
The fire was started in 1905 sometime, and that's when they discovered that the basements were untouched, and they were joined by underground tunnels or walkways. So the people just moved their businesses to the underground.
And it was tunnels that went from the railway station underground to the buildings. I'm not sure why they built all the tunnels. Is it because the winters are so harsh?
Well, they said it was for the workers, the railroad workers. And then it was used, they hired a lot of Chinese. Well, not hired, I guess contracted, a lot of Chinese. And at that time in our history, like the tour guide said, people weren't nice to each other, depending on how you looked. So it was safer for the Chinese to use the tunnels to go from work on the railroad down through the tunnels and into their boarding rooms.
And everything, because of the fire, everything went down underground, and they made tunnels that went for between 6 to 8 blocks. The whole downtown area became all underground at that point. Because they didn't want to rebuild in wood, they rebuilt the town in brick, and that took a couple of years. So in the meantime, you had all these businesses down below the ground. Everything you can imagine went underground. Wait, let's just show you what that looks like. This underground tour, we weren't able to video, but we could take stills. Hey, notice those steel plates on the side of the table. Look at all the burn marks from the cigars. And so they put those steel plates there to, so people would have a place to set their cigars down. Hey, Linda, if I put a steel plate on our dining room table, can I smoke inside?
Sure.
I got a feeling you didn't mean it.
These are the bedrooms in the bordello. The numbers above the bunks or the beds are the original numbers for the ladies.
Pretty fancy. That was the madam's bedroom right there.
Yeah, she had a chandelier. I guess it was pretty nice down there, except for you're in very close quarters.
Well, they had it nice anyway.
The blacksmith shop.
Yeah, that's the saddle shop, that one.
Beautiful saddles. I recognize a lot of tools and equipment in there that my father used to have.
There's the blacksmith shop.
Yep.
Yeah, your father was a blacksmith and a saddle maker.
Don't know what that is.
Now, as you go through, this tour takes about an hour, and we're only about 10% of what was originally there still exists. The buildings above still, I think that's the baker, right? No, that's the butcher. Yeah. The buildings up above are still own the areas down below. But they're leased to this corporation, which keeps this going so all Montanans or anybody can visit this area. It's well worth the tour. There's the bakery. There's a phone exchange, telephone operator.
These are the original pathways, or the tunnels as they call them, that goes from one business to another.
I forget this man's name, but he ran the bank. He was quite the entrepreneur, I think, and he made a lot of money. This is his office. Now, originally, there were illicit businesses before the fire down underground. Like there was 3 opium dens plus bars and a brothel and everything. And when the fire hit, all the other businesses went down and joined them and expanded the underground area. This is the pharmacy. Little cafe down there.
Soda fountain,
Yeah, soda fountain.
which was usually part of a drugstore, right?
Right. Chinese laundromat. They existed before the fire. This is a little cafe. There were, I think, several of them underground. And 3 opium dens. That was a dress shop.
Funeral parlor from
Barber shop. Here's the funeral parlor here.
Those are the portable coffins that they would transport the deceased from one location to another. That was a portable funeral parlor because people, they died out on their ranch or somewhere else, and they had to be brought to a place where people could gather for their funeral.
Hey, we strongly recommend that if you get up to Havre, you take the underground tour. It was way beyond what I expected. There was a lot of wealthy people in this town.
I asked the tour guide if any of the original founders' families and descendants are still in the area, and she says, yeah, quite a few of them are. One's a lawyer, and a couple of them still own the ranches that their family has had for generations.
Still here.
Yeah.
Yeah, people come to Montana, they tend to stay. Havre's kind of a strange name, Havre. Originally, the town was called Bullhook Bottoms, but once the town started getting a little trendy, they decided that that wasn't a name they wanted to be known by. So they got together and started talking about it. The original founders were French, and they decided to name the town after Le Havre in France. So they just called it Havre.
Who are these people?
Well, this is kind of an interesting statue here because it's represented by the cowboy on the right, representing the ranchers, the oilman in the middle, representing the Burlington Northern Railroad, and on the left we have the farmer. Well, this is a good place to end this video. We hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah. Thanks for coming along.
Yeah, it was a nice tour. We hope you enjoyed it too.
Yeah.
See you around.